Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, brothers, sisters, viewers of IQRA TV. With me, your host for today, Yusuf Akudi. Alhamdulillah, real talk it is. Usually you joining Brother Iqbal Bana. But today, out of all days, Alhamdulillah, we're here with me and we are talking about issues that are concerning you directly or indirectly. Joining me, before I introduce my guest, is someone who has nearly 4 decades of experience in politics, none other than the former ex-Lord Mayor of Bradford, Ghazanfar Sahab. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you? You okay?
I'm fine. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Jazakallah, Jazakallah.
Thank you very much for your invitations.
Jazakallah.
To be on your program today.
We, with you, my brothers and sisters, today we're going to discuss topical issues, more importantly, something that is happening right now. And a commentator and a historian as such, the Pakistani politics and the elections currently happening as we speak, and polls and numbers and facts coming in. Before we go into discussion with Ghazanfar Sahab, what I'd like to all of you to say a few prayers, share a few thoughts, more importantly, to those that have lost their lives, unfortunately, today at a bomb blast in Kuwait. I believe 32 plus have been declared dead. Unfortunately, inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi rajiun. Elections and democracy, law and order, stability, security, discipline. This is something we all thrive for, fight for, want. And unfortunately, there are those around us, amongst us, whether it's anywhere in the world, who try and thaw and make this part of our journey in terms of democracy, law and order, very difficult. I'm sure Ghazanfar Sahab would agree with me that, you know, these abhorrent attacks, suicide bombs are very, very damaging and against all kinds of teachings and, more importantly, the state of Pakistan and Islam. Inshallah.
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, my heart goes out to those people who were murdered today. I pray for them and pray for their families. In Pakistan, during the elections, this was the third, the most serious suicide bombing which has taken place. Originally, there was a suicide bomb taking place in Peshawar. One of the candidates from ANP lost his life. Then there was serious suicide bombing in Balochistan, where another candidate with also more than 30 people were murdered. And even today, at the day of the elections, another suicide bombing which has taken place. So
many innocent, and the word you've used, murdered. And I'd like to use the same word. I mean, they've been murdered mercilessly, innocently, and 50% plus turnout, I'd say, in the election, in the polls as such.
And I think actually I will give a credit to the people of Pakistan actually, seeing all these horrific suicide bombings taking place, and there's still today the massive turnout.
Yeah.
And there were still queues waiting outside of the polling stations. The people wanted to cast their votes, and that it's a credit to people of Pakistan, that how much they cherish the democracy and they cherish actually their right to exercise their views. You know, so and I think the law enforcement agencies, particularly today, they were the main target in a sense. You know, they were the most of them that you lost their lives. So overall, I think because there were forces actually which didn't want the election to take place in Pakistan.
But a lot of the parties were asking for, I'd say, a day or extra time for the polls to be open, because so many hadn't cast their votes, and there's so many waiting in queues. The turnout, speaking for itself, people voting with their feet as such.
Well, this is the first time since 70s. You know, so there was only one fair and free election in 70s, which everybody still remembers. It. This is the second elections where people have, without any fear, even so they were worried about suicide bombing, they want to exercise their rights to vote. Now, the Election Commission originally have extended an hour instead of for the extra hour actually for the people to vote, cast vote. There was demand actually for a lot of the number of political parties actually approached the Election Commissioner, so they further can extend an hour so the people actually could vote. So unfortunately the Election Commission didn't agree to that. So there were a lot of people who would have been disappointed, but a lot of people were turned away from the polling stations. They were unable to exercise their rights to vote. You know, so really, in a sense, actually, Pakistan going through all those different crises, and to see actually the democracy has taken place today, whether it's a controlled democracy, whether it's a free democracy.
We'll come back to that.
Whether one describe how they want to, you know, but you know, it is what I would say. It's the right direction Pakistan is going.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the controlled democracy and free democracy, and also free and fair elections since the 70s as such. But current state of affairs in Pakistan, with Imran Khan in the lead as such, and in the polls currently, who knows what happens afterwards. But the PTI, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, and the PPP as such, People's Party, and the non-league as such. So you're looking at 270 odd seats, but less, maybe a couple of less that we were talking about, due to unforeseen circumstances. There's no 2 seats not being having voted for. But what do you think? What's your opinion in terms of where and how many seats Imran Khan will come up with?
I think the first thing is that we need to understand the environment in which election is taking place. Imran Khan actually for past at least 2 years, but I would say ever since the last election in 2013, he's been running a campaign for fair and free elections. And then obviously Panama paper leaks came.
Yes.
There was 400 people mentioned from particularly was from Pakistan. Mainly the top person was Nawaz Sharif. So Imran Khan actually ran a campaign against the corruption for the last 2 years. But obviously and then where we are, I mean, I don't want to. He ran a campaign actually that we want to bring Pakistan out of dark
ages as such.
Okay.
But let me just stop you there before we go into it too deep. Going back to your original statement that, look, Imran Khan's been running a campaign for the last, let's say, 4 years, 2 years with a full force, full throttle against the anti-corruption, the 400 plus people's names that are leaked as such in the Panama Papers for corruption. Nawaz Sharif being at the top end of it. I'm sure there's so many more. And again, you know, let's be frank and fair. It's just not one particular party. It's rife everywhere. I don't know what you have to say to that.
Well, the corruption in itself in Pakistan, it's more or less embedded. Okay, it isn't just confined to Nawaz Sharif. It isn't confined to just Noon League. It wasn't just confined to People's Party. It wasn't confined to ANP. The corruption itself, there are corrupt people in every political party. So that is the culture. That's the nature of Pakistani politics, and that is the nature of Pakistani state, the system which operates in Pakistan. Now, Imran Khan, it's going to have a problem. Okay. Now, I will talk about later on, but at this moment, what Imran Khan has done in the elections, he has
done the campaign of.
He has accepted people who were in the People's Party, who were in Nawaz Sharif Noon League and other political parties, who our background is now very clean. Now what he will have a problem is if those people, what you're saying, he wants those people to join him, so-called electable, right? Those are the people who get elected from ever since Pakistan's creations. There are around about 2,000 people actually in Pakistan who always are in corridors of power. Okay. So Imran Khan, actually, half of his people, more or less, are those people who already been in PPP or been in Nawaz Sharif or been in the political party. So
well, I mean, just to be fair here, in terms of whether it's anybody, whoever it is, they're bound to make a, let's take football for example, or cricket, sporting. If I were to make my own team up right now, I'd be obviously looking at professionals within the field who have got experience and have played or currently playing or managing and directing. Similarly, that's going to happen in Pakistan. Surely there must be some credit there for Imran Khan's fight for, whether it's Imran Khan or anybody else, in terms of democracy, in terms of law and order, in terms of the country and the governance of it. And if you look at where the consequences will go in terms of if he tries to take Pakistan down that road of democracy, sustainability, economy, etc., Pakistan would be one of the superpowers or one of the super rich states, and as opposed to where you have a third world regime in education, in healthcare, in medicines, in water, in sanitation, etc. So the infrastructure itself would have a massive impact through democracy.
Well, the democracy, it's what it makes politicians accountable. This is the first time most of the people actually might have seen on the television, on social networks and other medias, okay, where the politician, the ordinary voter actually gone to the politicians and asked them actually, what have you been doing for the past 5 years? Why hasn't you been provided the water, clean water to my village or my city? Why haven't you collected rubbish from my city, and why haven't you built the roads? Why the education is so poor? This is the first election where politician has been accountable, and people ask them to be accountable for their action for the past 5 years, which is good because it makes politicians on their toe actually that okay, I find they might get elected this time, but next in 5 years time, okay, if they don't perform, they're not going to get elected. Now Pakistan as a country has a huge potentials. Okay, the problem that Pakistan has in the last 20 years is because of the terrorism, because of the instability in Pakistan, where the system itself has been unable to function. Okay, now in last 4 or 5 years, and if you look at it, Sindh was governed by PPP, KPP was governed by Imran Khan, Tariq-e-Insaf. Balochistan was governed by coalition of smaller minority, smaller parties. There's nobody has overall majority. Punjab was governed by Nawaz Sharif, Muslim League Noon. Right. So there is a potential. There's a potential for problems. Okay.
What do you think the current results will bring about? I mean, in terms of leadership and Prime Minister's role. I mean, I know it's early for us, but maybe a bit later on in a few hours' time we'll find out a bit more. In terms of facts and figures, do you think it's going to be a hung parliament? Do you think there's going to be a PTI is going to take the lead in terms of votes?
I think every indication saw that the PTI is going to be the largest political party. They would not have the complete majority to govern in Pakistan. So what PTI will have to do is to make alliances with the smaller political parties. Now then again,
obviously you've said it and I've heard it as well in terms of Imran Khan not willing to call to the table the PPI and non-league in terms of having that coalition.
What he will have to do, he will have to make allowances for smaller minority parties and independents who get elected. There are 100 candidates who are standing as an independent.
Mm-hmm.
So if they get elected, so the chances are that most of them will join the
PTI.
the whoever is in the power.
Whoever's in the
power. So it looks like the Imran Khan will probably make a line. Now he will have, what he will have is a problem would have the Sindh will still, the PPP probably will still be the largest party in Sindh.
Right.
He will have, KPP will probably have a largest party in KPP, you know, where Imran Khan's the governor. Balochistan will have the same problem. Okay. Now Punjab, which is the largest provinces, right? Okay. At this moment, it's not very clear, but it looks like
where it's going in terms of,
which looks like it's going to be an edge. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So he will have issues, serious issues.
We're just going to go for we're heading for a break, but I mean, do you think this will bring about instability or will it create stability? That's the big question we need to ask, and whether democracy is going to be upheld. So viewers, brothers, sisters, we're here, we're live. We're in Bradford and we are showing you real talk, discussing with the previous ex-Lord Mayor of Bradford, Ghaznfar Saab, 40 years of experience in politics, discussing the current political situations and elections in Pakistan, and more to come. Stay with us, we'll be discussing a bit more, and inshallah we will have some more news in terms of what's going on and give you feedback. So stay with us, don't go anywhere, and we'll be back with you shortly after the break.